Hello, I'm Jo Ayoubi and I'm Managing Director of Track Surveys in Power 360. Our business is helping organisations use 360-degree feedback to massively improve their people's development and reach their organisation's goals. We've put this short video together as our top 10 questions and answers on 360-degree feedback, so we hope you'll find this helpful. Question 1 is, why use 360-degree feedback? Well, the key thing is, if you've got behaviours and activities that you want to improve and change in your organisation, 360-degree feedback is a great way of defining those, making them very, very clear what they're going to look like, and then making them happen in your organisation. For successful 360-degree feedback and performance improvement, you must be very clear what changes you want to see and what the new skills are going to look like. The clearer you are about what you're looking for and what behaviour changes you want to see, the more effective your 360 is going to be. Question 2 is, where do we start? Well, if you already have a competency framework, job descriptions or job families, or skills matrices or learning objectives, then these are a great place to start your 360-degree feedback from, because you've already started to define the key activities and skills that you're looking for. And remember, a 360 that's aligned to those things is going to be much more effective than a 360 that comes from somewhere else or off the shelf. Question 3. How many skills groups should we have in our 360, or skills clusters if you like? Well, we advise somewhere between 4 and 6 is the best number to have. You don't want to have too many because you don't want to confuse people and make the 360 too wide and too disparate. Question 4, following on from that, is how many questions should we have in our 360-degree feedback? Well, we recommend around 20 to 30 questions with a maximum of 40. More than this, and the 360 becomes a chore for people to complete, particularly if you think about people who have to give feedback to a large number of their colleagues. And bear in mind that in the report, too many questions is going to make it difficult for the reviewee, that's the person getting the feedback, to pick up the key messages that are coming through. And they can only make one change at a time anyway. Question 5, the 360-degree feedback questions. What are they going to be like? Well, a couple of words of advice on this. Key things about your questions. First of all, your 360 must be questions based as actions. So for instance, things that you can actually do rather than concepts or ideas. Let me give you an example. Instead of saying, tries to make time to support other people, it's much better to ask the question, makes time available to support people. We can actually see whether that person is doing it rather than something that is in their head. Another important thing about the questions is make sure that your questions are always stated in the affirmative, not in the negative. So for example, instead of does not tolerate conflict in the team, a better way of putting that question is deals quickly with conflict in the team. Statements in the affirmative are much easier for people to understand and for people to respond to. Question 6. What scale ratings should we use? So how do we score these questions? Well, keep it really simple. Ideally, your scale ratings should be based on frequency. So how frequently do you see the person doing this behaviour? We would say a scale of 5 with, for example, always, often, sometimes, rarely or never. That's quite a good scale and works very well. You can have many different scales, but that's probably the best one. Question 7. What about free text? Well, you should always include an option of free text, whether that's within your 360 questionnaire or at the end. This allows reviewers, that's people who are giving feedback, to provide some examples and to give them a little bit of a chance to tell their story and talk about the person, as well as filling in the scores on the questions. Number 8, very importantly, what should be in the 360-degree feedback report? Well, the feedback report should show the feedback, group it together anonymously, apart from the line manager's feedback, and should include, firstly, the scores and ratings of the people who have given the feedback, that's the reviewers. It should include the self-appraisal by the reviewee. It should allow you to compare the scores of the reviewee and their colleagues, and also, ideally, it should be able to compare scores between different reviewer groups. For example, the scores of the peers versus the scores of direct reports. And obviously it should also show the free text comments, also anonymously. The report should provide this data in easy to read graphs and tables and shouldn't be too complicated. We found that too much data can be as bad as too little in a report, and very long reports can be confusing and difficult for reviewees, and they can also be very off-putting. Remember, the reviewee is looking for the key consistent messages that are coming through about his or her skills, and that's what the report should clearly show. Number 9, how do we communicate 360-degree feedback? What do we talk about and who do we tell? Well, our guidance would be communicate the objectives, the timetable and the outcomes of the 360-degree feedback clearly to everyone in the organisation, including obviously the reviewees who will be taking part, but also people who may be asked to give feedback. They need to understand why this is happening too. Don't forget to let managers, mentors and coaches know, because they may very well be asked to support the reviewee with their development planning, and the 360-degree feedback report is a great tool to help with that. Also make sure that your HR and your training people are prepared too, because they will be expected to understand and provide good information on the 360. And question 10, how do we follow up? Well, this is a really important part of making sure your 360-degree feedback is a success. Make sure that people have a chance to use their 360-degree feedback report in their development planning, in team meetings, anywhere they can. So really get the benefit out of that. Run the 360 again and measure the changes both for individuals and for the organisation, because that will be incredibly motivating for them when they see the changes that have come about over time. Tell the organisation about the ongoing 360 and what it's achieving and what's happening with that. It can be really important to demonstrate the benefits on an ongoing basis and to get everyone bought into the 360. Well, that's our top 10 questions and answers on 360-degree feedback. If you'd like any more information, please go to our website and give us a call or drop us an email. And if you'd like to test out 360-degree feedback in your own organisation, go to our website and click on the Empower 360 free trial button, and we'll set you up with a free trial right away. Take care now.